22-year-old Jaleesa Walls Harris, often known as Jace, was an aspiring singer who was always full of life and was certain that she would soon get her big break to become a singer and compose music.
See, I know there's sometimes that I might treat you bad, and you have no idea, you cannot see the facts, and it's killing my heart that I don't treat you right. I try to save myself so we don't fuss and fight.
She had a half-sister, 26-year-old Tarika Lene Jones, who she recently reconnected with. The two enjoyed hanging out.
All she wanna do is sing instead of coming the on. She sang too much. I just don't want to, cause he ain't no doctor, no. And we always seem to. So everybody wants to know what's up with those twins. Those twins. She's embarrassed. But I told her she shouldn't have them all.
Sadly, Tarika was in a domestic violence on and off relationship with her baby's father Kevin, who had a violent history and was no stranger to the court system. She put him in jail for pulling a gun on her and assaulting her. Unfortunately, just days after Tarika helped bail him out of jail, he would murder Tarika and her sister Jaleesa with Tarika's 3 children in the home. What would make Kevin take their lives, and why was he allowed to bail out of jail? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Cheverly, Maryland. Cheverly is a town in Prince George's County, Maryland, United States, located very close to Washington, D.C. Tarika, also called Ria Riri, was a student at Fortis College in Hyattsville, Maryland, where she was pursuing a profession as a dental assistant. She was described as a people person who would light up any room. She was a very cheerful and playful person and was working towards furthering her education and improving life for her and her daughters. Tarika was a loving mother to 3 little girls. She enjoyed making meals and sharing pictures of her adorable children on social media, but Tarika was having troubles in her personal life. She had a tumultuous relationship with her ex-boyfriend and the father of her youngest daughter, 30-year-old Kevin Reynolds. They had an on and off relationship. When Tarika informed Kevin that she wanted to move on and end their relationship, it is reported that this angered Kevin and sent him into a jealous rage. One night in February, Tarika reported that Kevin was scheduled to pick up their daughter, but the exchange swiftly descended into violence. Kevin was supposed to turn over their daughter to Tarika at 6 p.m., but when he arrived, Tarika proceeded to the other side of the vehicle to grab their daughter, and that's when Kevin charged at her, grabbing her, and then proceeded to toss her on the floor. She stated that Kevin repeatedly picked her up and tossed her around. Eventually she was able to get to her feet, and that's when she raced over to a neighbor's home, where he followed and then snatched her phone and hurled it after hearing her say that she was going to contact the police. More than an hour later, she would make a 911 call. All of this was occurring in the parking lot. It was a chaotic scene. Tarika was there with the father of her other 2 daughters, and Kevin's mother was also present. Tarika believed the reason that Kevin was so angry and turned violent was that he assumed that she called the father of her other kids, and that's why he pulled a gun on her. She stated that when she saw him retrieve the weapon from his vehicle and come towards her, she ran to her vehicle and called the police, and that's when his mother ran to Tarika's vehicle to take her phone away, because she didn't want her calling the police and getting her son arrested. Police arrived on scene and arrested Kevin for assaulting Tarika. Taking care of 3 little girls was challenging for Tarika, and she relied on Kevin to help her, but with him being in jail, he couldn't provide any assistance to her. Therefore, she would assist him in making bail. At Kevin's bail hearing 3 weeks later, his public defender requested a $5,000 bail. The prosecutor informed the court that Tarika made it clear that she does not fear him and that she rather wants him to come home. The judge reviewed the records and stated that what he did was violent and that he had a conviction for weapons and another assault conviction, and decided to increase his bail to $20,000. He made bail, and the decision to allow him to have bail would soon prove fatal for 3 people. During this turbulent time in Tarika's life, Jaleesa and Tarika had not been in contact. Jaleesa was not aware of what her half-sister was going through at the time. Sometimes they would go weeks or months without speaking. But after this recent domestic violence episode with Kevin in the parking lot, Tarika decided to get in touch with Jaleesa because she missed her sister. Just 5 days after Kevin was released from jail, the sisters were scheduled to get together on a Monday night, but Jaleesa's mother was worried about Tarika's impact on her daughter. She instructed her daughter to be careful and to guard her heart. Just after 10 at night on March 7, Kevin knocked on Tarika's Chevrolet apartment door armed with a gun. He entered and started shooting, striking Tarika and Jaleesa. They both were killed on the floor below the kitchen table. Kevin fled the scene, leaving Tarika's 3 daughters in the next room, including his own daughter they both shared. Fortunately, Tarika's grandmother, who also lived at the residence, was not present at the time. Sadly, she would return from work to discover the horrifying scene. The manhunt for Kevin was started. The next day, Kevin's body was discovered in Hanover County, Virginia, 100 miles away, slumped in his getaway vehicle with his shoes removed and a gunshot wound to the head. He fatally harmed himself. His body was found less than 24 hours after he was charged in connection the double homicide of Jaleesa and Tarika in Maryland.
This hour, a horrific scene in Chevrolet. A mother and her sister gunned down with 3 young children at home.
And police say it is yet another case of domestic violence. In fact, in the past 24 hours, 5 women have been shot or stabbed in domestic incidences in Prince George's County. Now, 3 of those women have died. Prince George's County has seen its domestic homicide rate increase, while the rest of Maryland, it's on the decline.
Tonight, ABC 7 has team coverage of this deadly trend. Our Suzanne Kennedy is tracking the latest effort to change laws to fight back. We'll get to her in just a bit, but let's start now with Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell. He is tracking this breaking news and this latest act of senseless violence. Brad?
Yeah, Leon, and we've got some breaking news for you, confirmed just about a half an hour ago and first reported by ABC 7, and that is the suspect in this double murder has been found dead, believed to be the victim of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was found this afternoon in Hanover County, Virginia, not too far, we're told, from Ashland. That is north of Richmond. His name is Kevin Tyrese Reynolds, and he had been involved in a relationship with one of the victims of this double murder. We can show you some video of this. This was something that happened at 10:30 last night. Neighbors here at these at the Chevrolet apartments, the Chevrolet Station apartments, heard arguing and then 2 sets of 3 gunshots. Boom, 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 boom. Neighbors ran upstairs and they discovered that 2 women had been shot and killed. Their names, Tarika Jones, you can see her in her Facebook page, on her Facebook photo, and her sister, Jaleesa Harris. Now, what we have learned is that Tarika Jones was involved in a relationship with Kevin Reynolds, and there was a history of abuse. Reynolds was arrested in the middle of February after he dragged Jones around the parking lot here and then threatened her with a gun. He was locked up, but Jones actually, according to sources, went to his bond review, said she did not want to move ahead with the charges. His bond was lowered. He was released just 6 days ago. Now, today we talked to some friends of Ms. Jones who came to the scene here today. They were in tears, saying this was a young woman who wanted to make something of herself.
She wanted to make something out of herself, you know, 27 with 3 children or not. She still wanted to come out of poverty. She wanted to be the best mother that she could be. It's just sad because she doesn't get that chance.
In only a few hours, Jaleesa, who was just spending time with her half-sister, would be dead along with her half-sister Tarika and her sister's baby father Kevin. Tarika had split up with Reynolds, and according to family members, he was having a hard time moving on. Family members were aware that he was abusing Tarika, but they had no idea that he would kill her and her sister Jaleesa. It may be difficult for some people to comprehend why Tarika helped her ex, Kevin, to get released from prison, and some may be tempted to blame her for the deaths that followed, but the responsibility lies solely with Kevin. He pulled the trigger and took the lives of the 2 young ladies. When dealing with domestic violence, victims often try to protect their abusers or refuse to cooperate with the authorities for a variety of reasons, including fear, humiliation, financial reasons, thinking that their abuser will stop abusing them, or not wanting their abuser to go to jail. The situation becomes even more difficult when there are children involved because it's difficult to remove yourself from the abuser when you have to co-parent with that person. For many victims, the decision to leave the abuser can be a deadly one. It's a process that takes careful planning. If you or someone you know needs help, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-7233. Family and friends held a candlelight vigil for Jaleesa.
Look at all these people for my baby. Oh, wow. I just can't believe it.
My sister was everywhere, all the time. She was very friendly, had so many best friends.
And you better know
All she did was sing. Everyone always wanted her to sing.
you gon' miss me when I go.
She was so young, and I love her so much.
What happened to Jaleesa and Tarika is a tragedy. Kevin had no right to take their lives. They had people who loved and cared about them. My condolences to their friends and family. May you continue to heal. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.